wanted to show you a real quick video to use Logger Pro. So let's say you got your masses and you got your forces of gravity. The masses are going to go in the x-axis and the force of gravity is going to go in the y-axis. And let's say your first mass was like 50 grams, the next was 150 grams, and the next was 250, and the next is 350, and the next is 450. And you found that the forces of gravity were like 0.5, and then like they'd be like maybe, I don't know, 1.5, and then like 2.4, and then like 3.5, and then like 4.4. Let's say those are your data points. You'll notice that when I put them in, Logger Pro automatically plots them, which is kind of nice. We have a little bit of work to do though. First thing is I wanted you to turn these masses, these are in grams, and I want you to convert them to kilograms. The way to do that is just divide by 1,000 or like move the decimal place over 3 places to the left. So 50 divided by 1,000 is 0.050. 150 divided by 1,000 is like 0.150. Oops. 250 divided by 1,000 is 0.250. 350 divided by 1,000 is 0.350. 450 divided by 1,000 is 0.450. It gets rid of the 0 because 0.450 is basically 0.45. Another thing it does is that it puts all these dots all the way on the left. And the reason is that if you notice on the x-axis, we have the scale that goes 100, 200, 300, 400. And that used to make sense because the masses used to be in the hundreds. But now the numbers are smaller. So a button that's really helpful to use is this, A. It's this, what it does, it kind of stretches your graph so everything fits. Next change I want to make is I want to click on X and then I'm going to double click. And I'm going to change the name because I don't like X. X is not that descriptive. And so I'll change it from X to mass because that's what's on the X axis. Short name. I'll make it M. It's a good short name for that. Units, kilograms. And so notice that it puts mass, kilograms on the axis. And that's kind of nice. I'll do the same thing with Y. Remember that Y is force of gravity. And it's the short name is FG, and the units are going to be in newtons. I'm going to hit done. And so notice it puts everything on the y-axis. And now I want to draw something called a best fit line, which is going to give me an equation. And the way to do that is I select all the data points, then I click on this line button over here. It says linear fit if I put my mouse over it, but if I just click on it, it puts a line. And oh my gosh, that's really nice. It tells me the slope of the line. It tells me the y-intercept of the line. And it gives me a little bit of an equation. If you look at this over here, it says FG equals M0M plus B. You should think about that as like y equals mx plus b. But instead of writing y, it writes FG because that's the thing on the axis, on the y-axis. Instead of writing x, it writes m because mass is on the x-axis. The slope is what it's writing as MO, and here it defines as 9.8, and B, it writes later. So if I wanted to turn this into an equation, I would write FG equals 9.8 newtons per kilogram times M for mass plus 0.01 newtons. And that'd be my equation. And that's what I wanted you to do. And then I want you to answer the rest of the questions. All right, have a good weekend.